You need to upgrade your plan. We are live. I don't know if my screen's going to catch up. We'll figure that out later. Oh, it did. All right. All right. Have to do some editing there. We'll go back and edit the podcast version of this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Andrew's Crap, episode 3. I should have had the logo up. I should have done a lot of things better. With my life, are you kidding me? It seems weird that you can just see the screen. I was doing that in case any chat popped up. Oh, there is people in here. All right. Hello, why ladies? Jake. All right. Some people are in there. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. There's only gentlemen in this thing. Good evening. This is exciting. It feels weird to have it on the other screen that I'm constantly looking away from the. I gotta figure out a better. We'll work on this. This can be improved. Now I'm just watching myself. I'm you from the future. You still didn't figure it out. You idiot. I should look at you. Can All right. Ladies and gentlemen, so I welcome to the Andrew's Crap, episode 3. This is my podcast that nobody knows about because I didn't post about it or even make episodes public until yesterday. But I recorded 2 test episodes and I liked it, so I've got all this crap in my head. I've got to empty it. This is my joke compost podcast. You know, you got to throw a bunch of shit in because sometimes from this garbage, beautiful flowers grow. And if you put crap in there, it's supposed to be good. We're going to make roses. We're going to make beautiful comedy, or fertilizer is also used in making bombs. So, metaphorically, bomb is a common, I don't know what YouTube live things are. I'm going to pop up on a presidential watch list. Metaphorical bombs in comedy when you have a bad show or bad joke. So I think the analogy fits really well because some of these jokes are terrible. This is the only art form that you get immediate feedback. You know, that's what I like about it. My brother does Taco Bell commercials and movies. I think some of you are familiar with the material I do about him. But I was joking with him the other day because he has to go through this 6-month casting process. They have to pre-production, they got stills, they got to edit the script 17 times, and then they film it, and then they edit it, and hopefully one of the actors doesn't shoot the director in the face. And then after like a year and a half, you work on this thing, and then 2 old guys in the box seats at the Muppets are like, this movie sucks, and then you lose $50 million. That seems tough. I would rather think of something in the car ride and then tell it to people and have them go, yeah, you should never say that again. That's why I feel bad for audiences. I mean, I feel bad for any audience that doesn't see my show, but I feel bad for the, you're an important part of this, okay? Is what I'm trying to get at. You are an integral piece of the puzzle. You stop bad ideas from becoming good, or you shouldn't. Yes, it is your fault if I don't tell a good joke, but I'm saying if I tell it a second time, it's your fault. Listen, enough with this. I didn't think. I guess it's 11. That's still more than I thought would pop up on a live thing with no the reshoots. Take a head crap. Oh, okay. You're digging it. Cup of noodles. I don't know what that's all about, but good for you. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Uh, um, I was visiting family and some fun stories. My my dad told me that he accidentally went into a Twin Peaks restaurant. Um, if you know what Twin Peaks is, it's like Hooters. It's one of those, what do you call it? A restaurant. Clever. Um, we're from North Bend, Washington, and they made a movie there called Twin Peaks. It's like a thrill. I've never even seen the movie, but my parents thought, oh, a North Bend themed restaurant in Vegas. This should be fun. And then they were surprised and pleasantly surprised, depending on who you ask. And the women all dressed like lumberjacks, flannel, and bearded ladies. Hopefully not. There's an axe wound. Oh, God. Now, here's what this is my suspicion. Like a month ago, my dad and I were driving around, and I swear he was Googling restaurants, and he said, "What's Twin Peaks?" And I said, "Oh, it's kind of like Hooters." And I think he just tricked my mom into accidentally going to a Hooters restaurant. If you're gonna go to a restaurant, Twin Peaks is a good one. The food is pretty decent. I can't speak to the beer or whatever, but don't go to Clam Jumpers. It's actually called Claim Jumpers, but I was driving by it the other day and I was like, Clam Jumpers, is that? Do they just, you know, listen, what better way to start the podcast off than with like a terrible, awful joke that I have open mic tonight. Definitely not going to repeat that. Let me get into the clickbait now that there's a few people in here, 13 people watching. Adam Sandler stole my joke. He didn't steal the joke, but I wanted to get a few people clicking in here. Let me see if I can play this and figure out. I'll have to go back and edit the podcast version. By the way, if you go to Linktree, there should be a link to the podcast on iTunes or Spotify, or I don't know. Hopefully I'm doing it right. To be honest, this is where I miss Corey. My buddy Corey Michaelis. We had a podcast for a bit, Homeschool, 93 episodes. Pretty good run. We're not fighting. I just we can't schedule anything. And we built like a studio to record some stuff in. And then it's just like, he's touring, I'm touring. I just want to sit down and I don't want to schedule my creativity, you know? I don't want to be like, at 4 p.m., I will think of some fun things to say. I want to just be like, I've got an hour to kill. Let's jump on the stream right now. But anyway, he would do a lot of this bullshit, which is like a lot of things, you know, when we have two people to divide up the work, it's not that big of a deal. But when it's just one guy, it's like, I got stuff going on, okay? This Call of Duty isn't going to rank up itself. I've got to do it. I've got to put in the work. I was setting up some shows and they're all self-produced. And then occasionally people will message me and be like, oh, it says 7 p.m. and we agreed on 8 p.m. I'm like, I know, I usually have a partner who will, you know, do the boring stuff. But anyway, this is episode 3. Adam Sandler stole my joke. Let's see if we can play this.
At his home, like eat his yodels, or try on his Spanx, or dare we say laugh out loud at Ben Stiller movies.
Ooh. This is some speech. And then that's a good joke, you know. Let's go to this
stabbed
one.
behind a dumpster of a 7-Eleven just to make a Ben Stiller movie funny for once. That seems like too much work.
Oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? Button in the middle of the.
This is why we need to legalize marijuana everywhere, so I don't have to get stabbed behind a dumpster of a 7-Eleven just to make a Ben Stiller movie funny for once. That seems like too much work.
You know what I'm saying? Brilliant. Well, we don't need to play that 7 more times. Now we'll start this from the beginning here.
We're doing everything we're not. Daddy is with you tonight. We're doing everything we're not allowed to do when Daddy's home. Like eat his yodels, or try on his Spanx. Or dare we say laugh out loud at Ben Stiller movies.
Thievery. Thievery. Obviously, he didn't steal that joke, but oh, a tip in there. Holy shoot. Goodness gracious. We were up to 15 people watching, and someone sent me money. Joe. Can't pronounce that last name, but shout out to Joe. That's pretty cool that Adam Sandler and I wrote the same. It's not even like the same premise. It's not. I mean, obviously, it's not. He didn't see my joke and then go, "I'm gonna make fun of Ben Stiller too." But if he did, that would be cool. That video has like 500,000 views, I think, on it. What are the chances that Adam Sandler stole one of my jokes? Probably very small, but that would be kind of cool to say. We've killed 11 minutes so far on the stream. That is unbelievable. Who would listen to this? All my favorite podcasts are just one guy ranting by himself, and so that's kind of, and I would like to, but trying to tour every. He has the mailing shows, zip code by all that stuff. A lot of promotion here, by the way. Friday in Bellingham. We got like 3 tickets left and then standing room. They say, can I rant about this? The venue, a lot of times I'm renting these venues and I've never been there before. I'm just taking it on a whim that I'm like, they've had comedy before, or they say they can seat 200 people. Like I did this show at this brewery and they're like, yeah, we can fit over 200 people. And then I sold 200 tickets and they're like, let's not sell more than 200. And I was like, And then I showed up and I'm like, oh yeah, this would have been better with like 100 people, but you do it. This show in Bellingham, they're like, we have 100 seats and then we have room for 100 standing. And I was like, can't we just fit like 20 more seats in there? And they're like, nope, no more seating room, but standing room. I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. How do you have room for 100 people to stand and watch a show? Can you rent chairs? Are you out of chairs? You can't get some chairs? Can't get some. We'll find out. We're going to film a little bit. My dad is very horny. We were talking about the restaurants, clam jumpers. He's 65 and he cancer this year and surgeries. Everything looks good. That's knocking on wood. And but he's still got it. Let me tell you, it is not looking good for my horniness to die down as I get older. He sent me. There's some Netflix show called The Life Girl. And I've seen it scrolling, and I thought that is going to be clickbait. It's not going to be interesting. By now, I know that if I want porn disguised as, bad plot and, like I'll just go watch a Lindsay Lohan video or uh, or just go watch the porn with bad plots on the porn sites. Like you're not gonna trick me with like the sex lives of college girls. Like, I don't know anything about that because they didn't have sex with me. So in college, but now they still don't. I don't date younger women. That's a joke I'm doing. I don't want to run bits. I don't want to run new bits. I'll tell all my old jokes. Um, but anyway, the other reason I know, well, he sent me an email like, "Hey, will you watch this and let me know if I should watch it so I don't feel creepy clicking on it?" And I just was like, I'm gonna pretend I wasn't included on that email. Um, but my mom, we're very I was my dad and I were walking in the woods. We were in Vegas or whatever, and it's all desert out there, uh and we were trying to find a trail that a friend told us about. And he was like, "You just go here and the trail is right there. Just go through the fence. Just go over the fence that's telling you landmines." And there's beautiful walking trails everywhere. We couldn't find this trail, and it was not, it's all rocky desert, and there's cacti, and my dad usually hikes with poles, and so he didn't have his poles. We just thought we were going on a gingerly walk. And then I noticed he's like not even looking at the ground. And I've got pretty good balance. And so I'm looking at the ground because I'm like, oh, I might trip over a log or something. And he's just going, "Oh, where is this trail?" And I said something like, "Hey, you should look at where you're going." And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, I'm fine." And then right after that, he slipped twice, didn't fall, but he just kind of lost his balance. And I'm like, "Hey, look at your feet, you idiot." And he goes, "Yeah, why am I not looking at my feet? You think that would be instinctual?" Something like that. And I was like, "And you're still not looking at your feet? Like, watch where you're going. There is no trail. What are you doing? You look, we're like walking around and there's like people's backyards. They're like there's a bunch of winos drinking, and I'm like, they're gonna go, this man escaped from a hospital and we need to call the police to come rescue him." But anyway, we were having a long conversation with my mom, and she goes, her dating advice to somebody's wife was complaining, husband so horny, blah blah blah, and they're my age, and her dating advice was, get used to dick. She goes, I'm almost 70, so do the math. I'm still doing it. And I was like, okay. As much as that might be an overshare, it's a beautiful life lesson to know my parents were still getting after it. And what better love advice than to think of it as a job? They call it a blow job for a reason. No one wants to be down there. Shout out to the ladies that love to show up for work. But, if you think of it as like once a week, I just got to fiddle with his boner and then everything else takes care of itself. I'm like, it's actually pretty good. I don't know. There's something to that dating advice. Get used to dick. Um, Very funny. Been walking a lot. I have a torn labrum in my hip. So for the last 2 years, I've been in constant pain, and I've still never punched a hotel clerk. For a guy that travels 100 nights a year, I would like a medal. Room number, key card, that's all I need. Does it look like I want to know where the gym is, or are you telling me I should know where the gym is? Do it look like I'm going to be awake for breakfast? Oh, breakfast is available at 4 in the morning until 6 a.m., and it's a waffle machine and soggy eggs that powdered milk, and it's gross. I know even when it's a Marriott, it's like just awful. Just stop. I feel like that joke would work better if I was a fat comic. Like, do I look like I want to know where the gym? But there is a certain look of a hotel gym guy, and I'm not in it. I'm not. I don't look like I go to hotel gyms. I think I could be wrong, and don't get me wrong. I've been in them. I've been in hotel gyms, but if you saw me in a hotel gym, you'd be surprised or impressed. Same with a woman. If you saw me inside of one, you'd be like, good for you. I bet this doesn't happen often. Except for this torn labrum in my hip, and I think it happened 2020, and I kept trying to go to the doctor, and they were like, the doctor actually last year called me fat. She didn't say it to my face like that, but she was like, I think you need a more active lifestyle. And I had just gotten done with like 3 months of touring, and I was pissed off, and then I got some photos back from like professional photographers at the show, and I was like, even the black shirt is not hiding the gut, and that's a problem. Because I'm in good shape. Don't get me, I still fit into good, decent size clothing, and like, you know, but I have that. I think I have a body where it just shows poorly, and so not good. But she was like, I was like, I go hiking like once a week. And she was like, okay, maybe more. And I was like, all right, can take a hint. And then I saw some photos. I was like, yeah, I'm getting a little fat. But in my defense, I was like, it hurts to move. So can we take a look at that? And she was like, well, no. And my last doctor appointment, I finally convinced him to give me an MRI. I'm like, I've been exercising, I've been in hotel gyms, surprising everybody. And then they said, just because of the way my bone is structured on that side, that I'm more susceptible to that specific injury, so that they just don't want to fix it. I have health insurance, but it's Obamacare, it's like the cheapest. It's like they try to talk me out of stuff because they know they can't make any money off of me. They're like, look, you have bones, they break sometimes, so just deal with it. Just be in pain whenever you use your leg for a couple more years, and then when it gets even worse, we'll fix it. You're like almost famous. You gotta have better health insurance soon, maybe. I try to be nice to hotel front desk people and strippers because they probably get abused the most by the customer, not their uncle or whatever. I get nervous in strip clubs because I have too much empathy. As a performer myself, who is often quite vulnerable on stage, I'm always nervous, and I want them to think like I'm a good audience member. I don't know how to act. I walk into strip clubs like I'm going through TSA. I'm like, hands up unless you tell me otherwise. No sudden moves. I'm not packing anything. And I'm sorry for wearing sweatpants, but the strippers don't like me because they think it's got to be a counterculture thing, because they think I'm weird because they're used to creeps. And then they're like, hey, stop making eye contact. My tits are down here. All right. Just during lap dances, they get close, and I whisper in the ear, you don't have to be here if you don't want. Wink with your butthole if you need help. Twerk twice if you need a rescue. So I didn't punch a hotel clerk. Shout out. Mike keeps cutting out. That's not good. Love what we're hearing, though. Thanks, Obamacare. She admires stand-up comedy. Tragic Mike. That's kind of fun. Hope this mic isn't cutting out. I'll review the game tape here, and we'll find out. Oh, we're up to 17 people watching. That's very exciting. Well, hopefully it's not cutting out over here, but we'll find out. 26. The time just flies. Every one of these things, I'm like, I'm going to do 25-minute podcast. I'm going to keep it short. And then I get rolling. And I'm like, I got an hour worth of bullshit ideas. I'm going to tell them all now. One of the things I did, this is my favorite. My doctors are like, hey, what's the point with you? You're a comedian. You'll overdose in 3 months. We don't want to waste our money fixing your leg. But I downloaded a stretching app to help with my pain. And every day at 11 p.m., it popped up. Watch Bob Rivers is live streaming. You're not allowed to live stream while I'm live streaming. Anyway, it pops up with a note. It's called Stretch Club. Makes you feel like I'm part of the club. I'm stretching every day. And it sounds obvious, like, yes, stretch every day. But then sometimes you're like, my longest streak is 28 days in a row. And I'm like, it should be easier for me to just go. But sometimes you're laying down and the thing pops up and it's like, did you stretch? And I'm like, I'm already in bed. Fuck off. So I set it to 11 p.m. And I always think, like, if someone walks by my hotel room at the right time, it sounds like I'm having a wild orgy, you know? Oh, yeah, it's a good one. Oh, I think I blew my back out. Oh, yeah, stretch me out, baby. And then they're like, what's going on in this guy's hotel room? The first rule of Stretch Club, warm up first. Stretching app tender. Wow, I got some funny fans here. It's better now. It was cutting out. You know, all around kind of guy. That's very not specific compliment, but I appreciate it. Oh, we're down to 14 now. I shouldn't have looked. We peaked at 17 people, and then it's gone downhill from here. 28 days in a row. What else should we talk about? I did tease that I organized a throughway just last night. There were a couple of no-shows, but I still had a good time. That's a really funny joke. I feel like shout out to Ryan being really funny here. Ryan, hit me up. Send me a DM. Let's get on some writing. I need a ghostwriter for this podcast. Obviously, terribly not funny. I did tease a story about a woman with any. I'm reading the comments and talking at the same time. I did tease a story on my last episode about a woman with a fake husband, and I think I'm gonna save that story for next podcast because I want to work out a few more ideas. And also because it's, do you feel this way ever? I wonder if other like bands, if they write it, like Taylor Swift writes a song and it's like about a guy and it's like everyone kind of knows. I mean, no one really knows, but we can narrow it down. I always felt like that. It's different with like Justin Bieber because, you know, he's not actually writing the song. My mama don't like you and she likes everyone. Well, that's just about whoever that guy wrote the song about. That's not about the Mickey Mouse chick that he was dating. I don't know names of celebrities. I'm not into celebrity culture. Big snowstorm in Seattle. I don't know if you saw my Facebook post. Hundreds of canceled flights, 3-hour delays for planes to get de-iced, and less than an inch of snow where I'm from. Supposed to snow maybe tonight. That's why I was gonna try to be funny in case I didn't make it to the open mic tonight. But I'm gonna do a couple jokes here that I have planned to do at open mic and see what we think. Um, there is no greater feeling than almost slipping on ice. You know what I'm talking about? That like, oh shit, I'm about to die, and then you recover. And like this happened to me um last winter, obviously. And it was like I was walking across a gas station parking lot, and people, there were like witnesses. They were like, "Get the phone. We're going to make a TikTok. He's about to eat shit. We're going to be viral superstars." And then I landed it, and I saw them looking at me and just go, "Oh," and I went, "Hey." And then they were like, "All right, it's pretty good." Um there's not much to that story, but I like witnesses where you're both like, "Holy shit, that was." I would, my favorite hike, Poo Poo Point. Hashtag pee pee poo poo. Can you read that? I don't know why it looks like it's gonna be 40 seconds later. Um, pee pee poo poo. I was at the paraglide off. If you watch my Instagram stories or whatever, that's all I do is go hiking at this one spot, and they parachute off the top, and it's amazing. And one time at the bottom of the hike is where they land. There's a big empty field, but there's a parking lot with like all these boulders. And someone, whatever, the wind took them. I was so ready to sign up for this parachute thing until I saw someone nearly die. And then someone did die. My dad sent me the story, but they had a heart attack in the middle of their flight, and then they just landed in some trees softly. So that's different. I feel like if I was attached to someone and they had a heart attack, I'd still be like, "All right, well, I'll take over." I don't know how to fly a. This is a funny too. We're gonna go on lots of tangents. There is not a single person who think like I think this is just how men think, but like every guy thinks that if a pilot gets incapacitated, he could land the jet. If someone was like in his ear going, "Push this knob and lever," I'm not saying I'm saying 50% of you think you could just land it without any help. But I bet a lot of you think if someone was helping me, I bet you just press a few buttons and go, "Wee." Um, which I was gonna add that to another thing. But anyway, parachute. I saw a guy land in between these two 6-foot boulders and like kind of skidded on the gravel and then tumbled into the grass. And he had a student with him, I don't know if it was a student or someone who paid to go on the ride. It's Disneyland. Someone was attached to him, and when they got up, I looked at him like, "That was close," and then they didn't say anything, and I was like, "Oh, I bet you almost poo-pooed your pants," and then they didn't react at all to my joke, and I was pretty pissed about it because I thought, like, we had a moment together where we both witnessed you almost die. In hindsight, he was probably like, "Shut up. Nobody saw that. That is incredibly embarrassing. I'm supposed to be a professional." But even professionals bomb like I'm doing right now. I had a joke on last week's episode that was like, people, this is me winding up the, if I can just get the record spinning, I can get to it. You put the needle on the, people always say, "Oh, comedy, I could never do that." Right? Like the average person isn't that a study or something like, everyone's greatest fear is public speaking? That, People would rather die than have to like give an office presentation. But then people watch sports at home, like, this fucking guy sucks. I could hit that, or I could probably throw a better touchdown. And I thought maybe that fits into that bit somewhere of like, I bet every guy thinks that he could land a plane. I That's why I sleep on planes, because I don't think I'm gonna be useful ever. Like if someone's, when they come out and they're like, is there a doctor on board? Is there a pilot on board? It's gonna be a long way before they get to, does anyone know any good dick jokes? Is there anyone who can tell a whimsical story about mailing drugs? By the way, 15 million views on YouTube, probably approaching 20 million views on Facebook right now. Demonetized on Instagram. Not allowed to make money on Instagram because of a joke about mailing drugs. The story is called Don't Mail Drugs. Great Chad Daniels joke. Pretty sure you're not allowed to say rape. Yeah, you can when you say don't in front of it. Pretty sure that's the number one time they want you using the word. I said don't mail drugs. Hove did that so you don't have to go through that. Okay? Learn from my mistakes. I'm saying don't mail drugs. Why am I demonetized? And it's the same platform. I'm getting like $1,200 a month from Facebook, and then Instagram is owned by Meta, and they're like, this is a classier establishment. Sir, this is a Denny's. Can you put your pants on? This is a Denny's. They all failed. One guy turned off the autopilot. Fake husband. No, not like he, I'm sure he exists. This is the problem with the bit is I got new information that he is a real. I started writing the joke because I met this lady and I was like, oh, she's dope. And then I asked around and everyone was like, she's married. And then I was like, we became social media friends and there was no evidence. And I was like, pretty sure she just said that to get me to fuck off, just like I'm already doing parts of the bit, but like SPF, like sunscreen for creeps. You got to get a stronger one for me because very creepy. But another guy couldn't work the seatbelt. Like the seatbelt they're like, someone a pilot, and he's like, I got this, and then he was like, I can't. How do I get out of my seat even? A fun tour story. I sent this to my friend Katie. I don't know if you guys remember from my album, Friends with the Bachelorette lady. And we think about these reality competition shows and these dating shows, and I thought it was so cool to watch her because it's like someone I know is on one of these things. Now I can really see how real it is, like by how she's acting and what she does, because I know her. Like other people, you only know whatever they introduce to you on screen, so you don't know if they're like a good person or whatever. And so it was cool to watch the show with someone I know and be like, oh, I kind of see what's going on here. But I had a moment of empathy because we were on the tour here with Hofstetter, and me and the tour manager and Leedy Corbin, the artist, we got stuck on like a 12-hour drive by ourselves. Usually everything's planned out to be like, this person leaves here, we got a new person coming in, and we have enough people to do this long drive where we rotate every 2 hours. We don't want someone driving for 6 hours. Like, I fucking hate this. So just the schedule got messed up. It's hard to plan a tour. I have a lot of empathy. It's hard to logistics tough. That said, we were mad in the moment. We were like, fuck this guy. If I didn't have 3 more days left, I'd be off this fucking tour. I hate him. And then it was fine. But what was cool about it was it was like this 12-hour drive where we all 3 of us got to bond with each other, because I thought about it. We don't get a lot of alone time. We're all in this big group touring together, and we have these conversations together, and then we're at a show every night. We're at work essentially. So we're interacting in that context. And then we have 2 hours of alone, where we bunk in a room with each other and we rotate the rooms and whatever. But, in that context too, you're like, end of the night, kind of talking about some stuff, but not really in depth. And like, tell me about your family and tell me about, how you got started in comedy. But we had this 12-hour drive where the boss wasn't around. We got to talk shit. We got to talk shit about other people. We got to talk shit about politics, or just, whatever, without any fear of like, oh man, there's 7 people in this van. Everyone's going to jump in. Someone's going to get offended. Someone's going to, I don't know. It's just, but I compared it to being on these reality shows where you're like, oh, it was like a one-on-one date. We got to actually get to know each other. It was a beautiful moment. But I was making fun of Katie. I have this new joke about making fun of influencers because she's an influencer. And it's like, imagine dating an influencer. Everyone is like, hey, we just followed your girlfriend on Instagram, and it's a lot of pictures of vibrators. Like, yeah, that's her job. Companies send her free stuff, and then she's got to convince idiots to buy them. I'm always like, honey, come to bed. She's like, no, work comes first. But then I was thinking about it too. Like, why do influencers sell vibrators? Like, does anyone need to be reminded to masturbate? Is there anybody out there? I have to put hot sauce under my fingernails, okay? Is there anybody who's like, gee, it's been 4 weeks and I just thought, you know what? I was depressed and oh, I know the solution to everything. Shout out to 12-hour drive could also mean Tacoma. We're up to 24, 19 watching now. All right. Shout out to this. What we got going on over here? Ryan, how do I make you like the MVP of the chat? Put user on timeout. You're not allowed to be funnier than me, okay? You're on timeout, Ryan. If you're not subscribed, go follow me on all the Instagram. I got a couple dildos to sell. I thought that'd be funny. They put hot sauce on your fingernails to stop biting your fingernails. That's what everyone says. But I thought, oh, if you put them on there to masturbate, but then after a while, some guy would be like, I mean, the zing feels good too. So, Kanye West. Let's see if the numbers go up or down after Kanye West jokes coming up. Oh, bye. Kanye West. Spoiler alert. Boy, what a troubled fellow. I have some jokes. It would need a lot of setup, but I have a friend who's 21 because I'm hip and I'm cool. But it's interesting to hang around her because she just has a different perspective on things. She only knows the bad Kanye. He's been a shithead for her entire adult life. And so it's like explaining America she just doesn't get why we care. where we're like, oh, he used to be so good. You don't understand. And it's like explaining America pre 9/11, where you're like, no, it wasn't always like this. Things were so good. We just missed the good old days. And she's like, I read some books and wasn't as amazing as you think. And I'm like, yes, there were warning signs, but we ignored them and it was fine. But sometimes we hang out and we watch movies, and then all of a sudden you forget there's an actor who's been canceled. It just pops up in the movie, and you're like, I forgot about that guy. What a drag. It kind of ruins the mood of it. You're like, Kevin Spacey as the love interest. That's just not even believable. It's hard to follow the plot line. Wow, he kissed the princess while she was asleep. That is not a good look. Or she's kissing frogs. Bestiality? Anybody? Come on. Let's cancel this. And it made me realize we need a Netflix for liberals. You know? Like I have the joke about the Netflix for Mormons, where you can edit out offensive parts of TV shows. And we need a Netflix. So you don't accidentally ruin your movie, where you can drop down menu where it's like, this is what each actor was canceled for, right? Possession of cocaine. I'm cool with that, you know? Hey, jerked off in front of a girl in his trailer. I mean, it's a really good movie, you know? Voted for a Republican president in 1987. Fuck this. Turn the movie off. We're not watching this bullshit. I cannot believe it's interesting who we decide to cancel and who gets to live and what even is cancel culture. I mean, I was submitted for a Grammy this year for my album, thanks to you guys for giving me all the views. The label was like, I guess we should submit it. I mean, we don't think it's good, but apparently other people do. I'll get into that maybe a little bit too. Yeah, but anyway, canceled. Louis C.K. won last year, nominated again, and deservedly so. Funny. His best work, maybe? This one? Sorry, or whatever. Awesome comedy special. Dave Chappelle nominated for the problematic special, which, again, my personal feelings, I just thought it was mediocre joke-wise. I don't care about, obviously I'm a straight white guy, so like it doesn't hurt me directly for someone to be, I understand why anyone would feel hurt, attacked, or whatever. To me, I was just like, I don't know, the jokes are kind of mediocre. I guess people are upset. I wasn't even gonna watch it. This sounds like I wasn't gonna watch it because the first two were kind of mediocre, and then the third one, everyone's like, "Oh, he's acting crazy," and I was like, "All right, well, I gotta better watch it so I know what everyone's talking about." And the things don't nothing. I mean, nothing hurts me. I think that's an old Louis C.K. joke too. What's the worst you could do? Call me a cracker? Oh, you ruined my day. I'm just gonna tell other people's jokes on this podcast. Does that computer die in 12 seconds? That's interesting. Well, I'm flying blind here. I'll pull up my phone, maybe. Shout out to Ryan. He's probably being so funny right now. Oh, look at that. Turn the volume down. You couldn't directly support the show in Lubbock? Tip on the internet. Were you at the show in Lubbock, Texas? Shout out to that was the guy had the hang in there tattoo with the rope. And it wasn't a bad show. It was just tough. It was just like you weren't getting a ton of like feedback, and the bar was being loud, and everyone else was like, "Oh, that show," and I was like, "It was fine." I don't know what we expected in Lubbock, Texas, to be the best show of all time. It was tough. About 600 Ewoks. They can't all be winners. I mean, what do you... On Steve's tour, I gotta say, the crowds are so good that you get spoiled. I was joking. I was playing I wasn't forcing John Banner, the tour manager. Was it a show or a rally? Steve's shows are very Trump rally-ish. I mean, these people, for some reason, they love this guy, and he is very political as a comedian, and everything's presented in a showy, a rally. You know, it is very like an event, which is good. I mean, the people buy. That was our best merch night per head. I mean, you know, whatever that means. But the people there bought more merch on average than every other show we did. Now, sometimes that's because the line gets too long, or people don't want to, you know, people regret it. You know, they got a babysitter, they got to get back. But what were we gonna talk about for a minute there? Shit, cancel culture. I can't believe Van Gogh paintings are still worth like millions of dollars. That guy cut off his ear and mailed it to a woman. Talk about unwanted advances. I'll show you who's a bad listener. I guess it would be harder to flirt back then. You couldn't just send a dick pic. You'd have to paint it and have someone deliver it. You know, hey, this one's for my girlfriend. This one's for my mom. Don't mix them up. And you're a bird. This is going to go well. Johnny Cash shot a man just to watch him die, and he's won tons of Grammys. Who's making the rules over here? Hi from Seattle. Hi from Canada. I'll be in Victoria, British Columbia. I'll be in Seattle. Laughs Comedy Club in January. I think the 18th and 19th or whatever that Friday, Saturday days are. Okay. The cancel. I didn't write this down in my notes anywhere. The label submitted me for a Grammy because I got, you know, a couple million views here and there. And you would think that, how do you say, like, I get that it's very small in the grand scheme of things, like 30 million views, not that big of a deal, but still worth maybe a congratulations or a, hey, good job, or I'm proud of you, son. You know, somebody could say something. My parents are overly like, we're so proud of you. I'm like, I've got 12 views. They've been proud of me the whole time when they shouldn't have been. Shout out to the people that believed it, you know. They just some people got, I will say, for all the like the thing I loved about the one ex-girlfriend that I talk about a lot. there's one girl that gets more screen time in my show. Is that what they call it? Screen time? That's what they call it on The Bachelor. Oh, this person got more screen time. I make fun of so many women that I've dated, but one of them gets a lot more. But she lectured. This is what I'll miss about her. She believed in me when she shouldn't. When But anyway, the label, you know, I have a label, I have a manager, I have a record label, I have I think like 800-pound gorilla was like the audio, Laugh Button wanted the video thing, and all that goes on their channel. They get the views from that, except for the clips. I'm not, by the way, if I post anything longer than 60 seconds, it gets demonetized. And they go claimed by Warner Brothers or Warner Entertainment Group or whatever. And but anyway, nobody has reached out from no one at the label has called me to be like, "Hey, great job. We're proud of you." And hey, maybe why don't we try this? Or hey, next year if you want to film another special, we'd love to have you. Or um, hey, here's some things we've been doing on our end because we appreciate you posting these clips everywhere. When the first video hit like 100,000 on YouTube, I sent the laugh button an email, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we noticed a spike in the analytics or whatever, but we couldn't tell where it was from. Great job posting those short videos. They seem to be taking off for everybody." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Is there anything else we can do to like they have a blog. They've never written a blog about me. They write blogs about they write blogs about like Dave Chappelle." And they're like, I'm like, "I know 3 people click on it, but it would just be nice for you to write a blog about me. To be like, hey, this is we own this guy. You own me. Like, make some money off of me. Like, I'm wanting to be taken advantage of." Just because I think it would help my career in certain ways. I have a manager who hasn't responded to my emails in April when I did my Netflix audition, and he was like, "We're going to work on that book project." And I'm like, "Gotcha." And then I left, and I was like, "I'll probably." It's like when you go on a date and you're like, "I'm never going to hear from them again." But I have a manager. Does he not? Is anybody paying attention to anything, or are they just like, he's in Seattle, out of state, out of mind? It doesn't matter. When I'm like, the people are voting with their clicks and their views, and that it seems like that should be something you would care about. No models, no supermodels have slid in my DMs, just regular ass models. Shout out to my friend who's a model, Zoe. Um, you know, very like, you would think that they would be more interested in like taking a fire that's burning and try to throw a few logs on there instead of just being like, "Good job." And then I'm like, "Okay." And my friend was talking to me, Hofstetter, and he was like, "Hey, Helium Studios, they're filming their own comedy specials now, and the guy said that he saw what you're doing and he'd love to have you film a special with them next time." And I'm like, "Okay." Also, he has my email. Why would he tell Steve, "Hey, tell your opener we want a special with him"? I've emailed you. Just call me. I'm the girl at prom who's like, I will say yes to the first person who shows any interest in me. And nobody wants to ask me. Is everyone together going, "Oh, he's a big star now. We don't know." You would think. I don't know. That seems weird to me. That was gonna be an idea I fleshed out more later with like punchlines and um, more less just like sad and more like funny. But that's what this podcast is about. Andrew's crap. It's on your link trees. It's on Spotify. It's on whatever. Shout out to StreamYard. Is this shit? It's gonna be this side. StreamYard is hosting this. Let me know how it's going. I'll go back and watch it. I think those are all the jokes I wanted to get into today. Lots of dead air. People like it. All right. Well, we're going to end the podcast here, and then I'll talk to some people on the live still. Shout out to everyone on the live there. Yeah. 40 minutes of jokes or potential jokes. Andrew's crap. We as I mentioned at the beginning of the stream here, As a creative, my best advice to creatives is always write your worst idea down. That's the thing I really took into practice during the pandemic, and my writing has improved greatly because I'm not I'm not afraid to not be funny right now, as evidenced by 40 minutes of this. But from the crap, you can grow flowers or you can make a bomb. So I felt like that was a fun analogy. And we're gonna test the live streaming. We're gonna try and do these on YouTube. We're gonna try to do these on Spotify. It's been an hour. I tell you, they flow by. Every podcast, I'm like 30 minutes, I'm out of there. And then I got to the end of my sheet and I'm like, I feel like I should give them more. And now I'm like, it's been an hour. What do you want from me? Go subscribe, go click all the things. I'm gonna stick around and chat with the YouTube live people for a little bit. And I love you. God bless. I felt like that was a 12-minute outro. Let's scroll through some of this nonsense and see what is going on. Ooh, Sandler stole me. Oh, I don't want to listen to myself. How's the video quality? I've bought a new webcam for this. You know, no recap. Go all the way back. Katie. Oh, cut out again. Fully cut out. Audio cut out. Mike just died. You're back. Interesting. I'll have to play with that more and see how it's going. Canada, Massachusetts. Yo, I just showed up. Did Adam really? Oh, I'll play this again. Adam Sandler stole my joke. I'll put a let's see if I can put a poll up here. Okay. Engage with it. Start a poll. Should I sue Adam Sandler for $1 million? We're going to play these clips now. Okay. Adam Sandler.
With you tonight, we're doing everything we're not allowed to do when Daddy's home. Like eat his yodels or try on his Spanx.
Is it playing?
Or dare we say laugh out loud at Ben Stiller movies.
I'm curious about that. We'll keep playing with it. I think it's all recording fine on the Guitar Center. Not what is Garage Band. Okay, so that's Adam Sandler's joke.
Why we need to legalize marijuana everywhere, so I don't have to get stabbed behind a dumpster of a 7-Eleven just to make a Ben Stiller movie funny for once. That seems like too much work. You know what I'm saying?
All I'm saying is he owes me $1 million. Really. 67% think I should sue for $1 million. Is the no because I should sue for more than $1 million? Or what did I make the poll? $10 million? I feel like the comments are delayed and there's only like 12 people left. 16. People still watch. Shout out. Leave this up and see what you think and decide how you feel about it. I have 6 o'clock has ended. It's supposed to actually snow a little bit more today. It is snowing. Snow for the next hour. Okay. but also 34 degrees. So I think I can get out of the house. Oh my god, fix your mic. I don't think it's the mic cord. I think it's gotta be. I'm not blaming StreamYard, but I'm blaming StreamYard. Legal fees and taxes. I was thinking about that. You know, I was trying to research mattresses, and I came upon a video that was like making fun of Casper mattress, I think. Then they were like, they wanted $1 billion, and they got an offer for 900 million, and they turned it down, and then the company was only worth bankrupt or whatever. I'm like, well, should have taken that 900. But the guy was like, "Whoa, I better get $1 billion, just so it sounds cool." Um, well, it was fun. That's gonna be what the episode is. The episodes, I'll try to do them live here and there. I will try to put them on YouTube afterwards. Maybe that's better. It's when you move it. Okay. Katie's jiggle the cord. Like, all right. Well, I don't know if it works, but I got nothing for you. Thanks so much for watching. I'll play with the cord. I'll watch back and I'll figure it out. Oh, we're back when I make a jiggle. Maybe you're right. It is a jiggle thing. I like the way you jiggle, jiggle. It folds. That's not how the song goes. We're done here, right? We don't need to. I've been saying goodbye for 12 minutes. So I shall end it there. And I love you. Thanks for watching. And tell Adam Sandler that he owes me some fucking money. Present slides. You have no slides? Upload from your computer. Upload file. Uh-huh. Oh. I said upload this file. Oh, you can't upload a PNG? Okay, well, never mind. You don't get podcast art. Signing off. How do we end the broadcast? There we go.